It's like the first time I went to Vegas. I was there for 3 hours. I was down $400 and I didn't want to play anymore. Like,
Been there.
I want to go home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, we're still here for 5 days. What? What am I supposed to do for 5 days? I don't gamble.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode 20 or 2000 or somewhere in that range that has a 2 and a 0. But we are back, and as you can tell in the background, we are here at the Motorplex yet again with another track event. And I feel like this is our home away from home. So, and then we have a few special guests. We have Zilla 2.0. No, not Zilla 2.0. Now we have Zilla 2.0. A little bit on the red side. This 2.0 version goes by Gary. So we have Gary here, and we need an applause. There we go. Now we got Gary Zilla here, ready to assist with the pod since Jay Zilla couldn't make it. And it's past his bedtime. Sorry. But we are out here at a special event that Skog and Dickey puts on every year, and we are super excited to be out here. It is an event that they put on for a lot of their wholesale dealers. So if you just happen to buy from them, you may also get this opportunity to come to a 2-day private track rental just for you. And it has been a blast. So we are super excited to have a very special guest that has a whole lot of Hemi knowledge, tuning, and a very cool story to tell us. And that is going to be Mr. Gordon. Sorry, our director is... Our director is a little slow today, or maybe most days. Anyways, so we have Gordon here and Zilla 2.0, and we're super excited because as most of you may have seen or you are about to see, Skog and Dickey has done some killer tests on a lot of Hellcat stuff here recently. And a lot of good knowledge, a lot of good info, because the facility that they have is very unique, and they can do engine dynos and tests and things like that. So pretty awesome. So thank you, Gordon, for being here. And most importantly, thank you to Skog and Dickey for sponsoring us and the team and helping us do all of that. So we have Gordon, and let's go. Let's dive right on it.
Let's do it.
Perfect. How was that intro, Tori?
Nah.
Jeez. All right.
Said Zilla 2.0 and pissed her off.
So, Gordon, tell us a little bit about you. How long have you been?
So, I guess we'll start with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been working on cars since I was old enough to walk. Used to spend summers going to my uncle's house in Frisco. He always had classic cars. We were always doing car stuff during the summertime. I would come spend summers in Dallas and go to car shows with him. And so really my love of cars, it's his fault. Basically, I started out at Ford. I was just a line tech at Ford. I did that for several years. And when I was going through UTI, I actually worked for a couple of speed shops in Houston. And took me to my first EFI class, and this was back in 2003. I took my first Excel DFI class, and this was, 20 years ago. Now DFI is not even really a thing anymore, but...
that's not to date you, but that's a little old.
If you really want to talk about dating, we used to burn chips that were in the Grand Nationals, and I was the guy that had to take the chips because we did mail order tunes, and so I would have to take the chips and put them in the little easy bake oven. And if they because UV is what blanked them out.
Yeah.
So if they didn't blank out, they would you'd set them outside in the sun all day, and eventually the chip would be blanked, and then you could actually flash it. Like,
Wow.
It's old school stuff.
That's interesting.
Back when you used
Wow.
you used to have to take the chip off the board and put a EEPROM on there. It's called a ROMulator, and basically it would turn a factory ECU into a like a standalone. You could make live changes on it, and then when you figure out what you wanted to do, you burned the chip, put the chip on, and then they were done. That's how it was done back in the day. But that was even before Excel, DFI, and then there was LS1 edit, LT1 edit. And during all this time, like I'm just working as a line tech at Ford.
Yeah.
Working on my buddy's cars, doing some other stuff. I actually was a diesel guy most of my life. Got into diesel tuning, got into all that, and then gave it up when the EPA started doing their stuff and really haven't looked back. I got back into the service world. I got back into the service world at Ford, and I was living in Virginia at the time. And I decided that I wanted to move back to Lubbock, so I had talked to Nicky Fowler at Scogg & Dickey, and this was in 2018. He said, we're building a new Dodge dealership, and we want you to be the service manager out there. So I was like, it sounds decent, so let's do it. So I made my way back to Lubbock, waited on him to finish the dealership. I did that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
The service manager is the toughest job in that dealership, no matter what. Like there's a lot of people that say that the general manager and all the service manager has it the worst. And I liked it okay. COVID changed the job. It was like every day, during COVID, we couldn't get parts to fix anything.
No.
Couldn't get parts to fix anything. They weren't making parts. They weren't making cars. All of the rental agencies had sold off all of their inventory. They sold off all their inventory, so they didn't have any cars to rent. I had no cars on the lot to loan cars out, so people's cars were breaking down. And then they're saying, well, I've got a contract that says I get a loaner. Well, guess what? I don't have one.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nobody got one. And it was
Wow.
it was every day. And it was like they would just scream at you, and it got to the point where it was like it was getting to me emotionally. Because if I mess up something, and if I make a mistake, which I'm not infallible, I make mistakes. Reprimand me, yell at me, do whatever it is. If it's my fault, I'll own it.
Yeah.
But doing that, it was really tough because it was a 100% out of my control, and it went on for months. And I finally just said, I don't want to do this anymore. So Crosby is actually my boss. He's like, come back to parts. He's like, you're a good employee. Like, let's think this through. Let's get back to parts.
So you were ready to throw in the towel.
Oh, I was done. I told him I'm find somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
like this is it for me. And he's like, come back to parts. I'll find somebody up here to replace you. So I went back to parts. I did wholesale sales for a while. I really kind of didn't like it, and I've always been in the performance world. I've always done it. Like, I was building my car even when I was the service manager, but we weren't marketing to the Hemi people. We were just a small town dealership, and I was just doing what I do, and that's just messing with cars. Like, so we kind of started thinking about it, and they're like, well, we do a lot of performance stuff on the LS side. We need to do it on the Hemi side. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. A year and a half ago, we got a 5.7. We got some cam profiles. We did some modeling, some computer modeling, measuring, and all that. Decided we were going to do a dyno tune or a dyno test session on it, where basically we just hot swapped the cams. We're all scientists at heart. Like, I love physics and science, and Jesse, my coworker, my friend, he's a big math nerd. He's physics, things like that. So we're all scientists. So when we go in, we approach these things, we change one variable. We change the camshaft. Like, so I changed 4 camshafts in 2 days, just one right after the other, and making sure that there was only a single variable change.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't changing timing. You're not changing airflow. You're not changing a lot of things. One of the things that we did towards the end of it was we found out that the 5.7 Hemi is severely underpowered. Like, from the factory. They did it on purpose.
Yeah.
They made the engine nose over at 5,000 RPMs, and because if you put a decent cam in a 5.7 car, they'll run with a 6.4 all day.
All day long.
All day long.
Yep.
Like I've seen them outrun 6.4 cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one thing that we did find during the cam testing was
let me put, I don't want to interrupt you. Let's put a disclaimer on this. People, you cannot do 4 cam jobs in 2 days. No. This is on an engine stand. So don't call me asking for a cam job to be done in a half a day, because Gordon here was doing 4 cams in 2 days. He had that on an engine stand.
Hour and 15 minutes. That's all it should take. don't let him fool you with that book time. It should only take an hour and 15 minutes. That book time ain't right.
He's doing all this craziness. It's on an engine stand. We'll put it right here. This is a engine dyno. That way you can see what it is. So no, just if it takes me 2 days to do it, it's 2 days. Jeez. Okay, so, go ahead.
Anyway, so one of the things that we did learn, and because I had, I've got a 6.4 car, I had a 6.4 intake, stock one, and one of the popular swaps on the cars is to swap the 6.4 intake off for the 5.7 intake.
Yeah.
And we were like, because we're all scientists, we're like, I want to build a kit. Like we're a dealership, so if it makes 30 more horsepower, I'm gonna get an intake kit. I'll make a kit that where the short runner moves and everything else. Mm-hmm. We put that thing on there. I tried it in every single way possible. We moved the runners at different RPMs all the way through. I ran it all the way in short runner. I ran it all the way in long runner. At no point in time did it ever make any more power over 5,000 RPMs. And it was just a short window at the very beginning where the runners were in long position.
Yeah.
At no time did the car 6.4 intake ever make any more power than the 5.7. And we tried it several different ways.
With a cam or no cam? Or stock
Cammed
cam?
up.
Cammed up.
Cammed up. And
Didn't
then
make any.
And then we got a lot of, I defended that online for a long time.
Yeah.
And started getting a lot of bracket racers, NMCA racers. They started messaging me. They were like, hey, we found the same thing. We were hot swapping it at the track. We were either losing mile an hour or it was not doing anything. Like, that's exactly what we found, is that it's doing this. So I was like, well, bracket racers saying the same thing. And then Josh from HHP, he found the same thing. He's like, I don't know where people are putting these car intakes on. And I'm not hating on it. It's not a bad, it's not something that's a bad mod. It's just not going to do anything for you. The truck is a different story.
Okay.
The truck is a different story. The 5.7 the 5.7 truck intake is atrocious. I mean, you got the throttle body coming straight out.
Sure. Yep.
Just looking at it, you're like, that's not going to be that great. But yeah, I think that's what happened, is the saying came from the truck guys, and then the car guys are like, oh yeah, cool.
That has to be the same.
So we actually even proved it a little farther, because Jesse we were talking about it. Jesse's like, how could we prove it even farther? So when we did the 6.4 cam video, I swapped several cams on a 6.4 to find our max effort cam. I took a 5.7 intake and put it on a cam to 6.4, and the dyno graphs laid over.
Same.
So it does nothing. It does nothing.
This is going to be the pod of heartbreaks.
Yes.
And snake oil.
Calling out all the
debunking.
snake oil salesmen on this one.
You're going to have to defend it.
So a lot of this stuff, as far as what you guys are testing and doing and things like that.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say, is like what Scott and Dickey does, like what we try to do as ourselves, is we try to put out tech videos, and we try to put out videos for the customer, like for y'all, for shops. Like, I want everybody to be able to learn from it the same way that I learned from everybody else's videos.
Yeah.
And I told people at the beginning, when a Superflow dyno, let's be honest, a Superflow engine dyno, you can't fool.
Yeah.
Like, you can move the air temperature around, but the numbers don't, like, you can't really fool a Superflow like you can a dyno jet,
right.
Or like I can make a dyno jet read whatever I want. So I told people at the beginning, like, if I'm wrong, please bring some data. Mm-hmm. Like, we'll take any content that we make that turns out to be egregiously wrong or like something like that. If you brought data and receipts and we're wrong, we'll either redo it or take it down. And that's all I ask is like, just, you know, they said,
Show it.
They
Yeah.
said, you know, engineering, they just call it opinions, basically. If you have an opinion about it, then you better bring data. And if you don't, I don't really care about your opinion.
Yep.
And that's
Everybody's
just,
got one of those.
They do. Debunking these upgrade theories could be a pretty badass short series for Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
Yeah, I would. You know, we do like to do a lot of the debunking and figuring out things. And what this is like Scoggin Dickey as a whole has been a dealership since 1929. Okay, Texas Speed used to be right down the street from us.
Yeah, I remember. Yep.
Like we've all been in this industry. Like our race shop was actually a engine shop called Sunset Racecraft, and
I know them.
after the owner died, all of the people just work for us now. So that's our machine shop is Sunset Racecraft essentially.
So that's where Sunset went.
So yeah, so that's all of our people, and all the people that are out here today is what we do. You know, it's tough to get them to build Hemis, but you know, most of the time they just want to build big blocks, and that's really it. It's hard enough to get them to build GMs and LSs. They want to build big blocks.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them. Like, they can make good money on it, and that's what we do. So it's in the same building as us. It is hard to get dyno time on it. Like, so like you really have to have your shit together. Like, I always have my ducks in a row, like what cams we want to test, what intakes we want to test, what all tests we want to do, how we want to do it. Like, I have a whole syllabus of plans that we try to stick to. And you know, we always get a lot of hate because I always forget something. This last one, when we did the Hellcat video, there was 70 dyno pools over the course of 5 days, and all of that was different. It was 5 blowers, 4 different camshafts. It's actually 5 camshafts, 4 that we put on online. But it was 5 camshaft changes and 5 blower changes and all multiple pulls and everything else. We did learn a lot. We learned a lot about the cam design on like what Hellcat likes. This is something that I want to talk about. You know, right now, what Hemi is 2005 LS. This is 2005 LS for the Hemi world.
Yeah, starting to.
Like, it's just barely, like, this when HP tuners came out, it started getting real popular in LS world, and everybody was starting to be able to tune them and then understand it. People were reading each other's tunes and like turned into tuning shops that just had a car tuned. Like, all of that is happening here now in the Hemi world. And it's actually kind of fun. It's actually kind of fun to watch because I've already watched it in the LS world. It was like, oh, this guy stole my tunes. This guy did this. Like,
I remember.
It's all gone in the Hemi world. Like, ain't nobody, or it's all gone in the LS world. Ain't nobody's talking about stealing tunes anymore. Like,
no.
You know, I like being from that world. Your tunes are gonna get stolen. I'm sorry. Like, you do enough of it, they're gonna get stolen. They're gonna end up on a Google Drive somewhere, and it's gonna get passed around if they're any good. Like, putting read locks and everything else on a file is keeping honest people honest. That's like putting a lock on the gate in the hood. It's all it is. And I try to be honest with people that are trying to talk about that stuff. They're like, oh, my tunes got stolen. I'm like, just sell more tunes. Sell a service. You know, like, I don't have the best tunes, but I will take care of you at all times. You know, don't worry about the scores from other people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if y'all are Texas Tech fans. Like, I'm a Texas Tech fan way back. We used to have this football coach. His name is Mike Leach. And one of his philosophies was, I don't care if you score. I'm going to score more.
There you go.
You need to have that idea with you in everything. Like, there's people that are going to get a one-up on you. There's people that are going to get whatever. I'll just outscore you. Just keep going.
The race engine side of which you have that dyno is the same dyno that Racecraft use.
Theirs was different. Ours is new.
Yours,
this is from
newer.
2015.
How
I can't remember.
As far as like debunking a bunch of stuff that's on there.
So we're trying to do the Hemi stuff, the stuff that needs to be debunked. There's a lot of people that are just making things, and I get it. Like it's early infancy LS.
Yeah.
Like we were putting truck intakes on cars and trying to find any part that was a little better.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did in the early 2000s on LS, and that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
And it was all because of HP tuners. HP tuners came out with the platform stuff for the LS stuff, and EFI Live was doing LS stuff, but not very many people used it, and the people that used it were shops.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like really readily available. Like it really wasn't known because EFI Live was more in the diesel world back then.
Yeah.
But
I used to use EFI Live.
Yeah, I used EFI Live exclusively on diesels for forever, and then when I moved to the East Coast, I learned how to do SCT. I don't like SCT.
No, are they still around?
Yeah,
I think so.
Derive. Yeah. I don't like the software. I like this. The company is good. The software that works. Software's hard to use.
And SCT's, I guess, Diablo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're about the same.
No?
Diablo is Holly. Holly bought Diablo.
Oh, okay. So SCT's different then.
SCT is different. SCT is a company owned Derive, and they own Bully Dog as well.
And it was big in Fords.
Fords
SCT.
and Dodges.
And Dodges?
Because the company that I used to work for, Innovative Motorsports, ID Diesel, they used to tune the Dodges for B. Woody. I don't know if he still does or not, but he used to do it with SCT.
Yeah.
And this is because they were, B. Woody wasn't an hour up the road. But yeah, that was mostly Eric that did the SCT Dodge stuff, and really the SCT stuff I just mostly focus on EFI Live.
Yeah.
I know how to do value files and all the other stuff on SCT, but SCT's completely different. Like it's archaic compared to everything else.
For sure.
Same with Diablo Sport. I mean, Diablo is hopefully now that Holly has them and they'll put some money in it and get a nicer software for it. I would like to see that, but yeah, HP tuners changed the market. They made it to where everybody could do it in their garage and do it pretty easily.
Yeah, big time. They changed the game in that big time. So, tell us about this. Some of these cams. What's the secret?
So, one thing we want, that we try to, Jesse and I talk about online a lot, and it goes back and forth. Everybody thinks you need a custom cam. You need a custom cam. And I don't subscribe to that, because custom cam means custom everything usually.
Yeah.
For every car like mine and yours, there's 1,000 or more, thousands of 5.7s and 6.4s and Hellcats that just want the chop.
Yep.
I just want the chop. I just want the sound. I just want, we've got 7 profiles for the Hemi. Our most popular one is the El Chapo for the 5.7, and actually it sounds pretty good in 6.4. I mean, it's pretty decent power.
Let's be real. How many cams can you come up with between an intake and exhaust valve event?
Correct. And I also like to point out sometimes, like us performance guys, us street performance guys, we are very different from the race shop guys. We may play at the same place, we hang out at the same places, we can talk about the same things. We're not the same. Like, I care, like they chase every single horsepower that they could possibly get out of every single thing. What Jesse and I have to really think about is, can it work on a stock converter? Can it fit without fly cut and pistons? Does it have decent drivability and idle quality? Will the springs last 100,000 miles? Are the push rods going to hit? Will that, we have to think about the longevity of the thing and everything else. Yeah. These guys are changing valve springs every 2 races.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that. It's just not.
No.
It's not interesting to me. So we focus on the street guys. Like I've always said, even with the custom cam people, when people say I want a custom cam, I typically send them to one of my customers that buys wholesale parts from me that does custom cams. Because for a shop that of, even 5 people, they can do a custom cam job and still make money at it. We have like 100 people. I have to sell 50, 100 cams a month, and I can't. The amount of babysitting and everything else that you have to do with the custom cam, like I don't have that kind of time. I really don't. And it's not great, but it is the truth.
But what are you benefiting from a custom cam?
Correct. Like
versus one of off the shelf. Like let's call El Chapo. So if someone wants a custom cam, how do you say? How does that come up as I want a custom cam, but not your El Chapo? I mean, you can't.
Really, yeah. You really run into. Here's the thing: you can move valve events around. You can move the intake. You can move the intake opening a little sooner. Like sprint car guys, they've got 2 different cams. They've got a 105 lobe separation and a 109 in lobe separation. They both have the same duration, but if you ask them which one comes out of the corners faster, it's a 105 because you're moving the valve event sooner. You're advancing the intake valve event sooner.
Right.
So you got more low end torque. You can move the numbers around 3, 4, 5 horsepower, even 10 from a custom cam for what you have, like your heads and everything else. You might be able to get 10 more horsepower out of it versus a shelf cam.
Right.
And that's what we were trying to prove in the Hellcat cam. For one, I wanted to see how the Hellcat engine responded to moving just a couple of valve events at a time. Because like the ones that we tested, they all had, except for one, they all had a 241. They all had the same exhaust lobe, virtually the same exhaust lobe. And what I was doing was I was moving the intake around, seeing how big, like how much duration split it really liked. And like what it liked for overlap, where it liked these. And what we proved basically is I sit there and, we had a dyno graph that was like 13 horsepower difference between the top and the bottom. And we're talking about 850 horsepower.
Yeah.
Like 13 horse on 850. Like unless you came to me, Garrett, and you said, I'm running a 915 every time I go down the track, and I need to get that other 1500ths of a second.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. I would say, let's grind you a custom cam. But you need to be able to prove that the car is consistent. And most of these guys, 99% of the people out there just want to put a cam in their car. They're not coming out here. No.
Yeah.
They're not doing this stuff. They just want it to sound good, run good, do all that, have longevity, the spring, not have to worry about valve springs or push rods or any of that stuff. That's why I push shelf cams, is because eventually if you're testing, anybody that's testing cams, all of them are going to look the same. It's going to be just like the LS world in 10 years. They will all be the same. Like you want a cam to do this, doesn't matter whose flavor of camshaft it is. It's all going to be, they're all going to look the same.
So what's the sales point on a cam then?
Just pick somebody that's doing testing, that's actually testing it.
Yeah, but if a customer calls you and says, "Hey, I want to run a cam and my 6.4."
Really, I only have one.
Okay.
We've got one that made pretty decent. It's at max. It is. You can't get a bigger one in it.
Yeah.
Like it's got 115 thousandths on the exhaust, and I think 90 or 85 on the intake. It's close. It's the biggest one they can put in there without actually fly cutting pistons. And at that point, that becomes a customs thing that I don't really. I mean, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Like if it's a custom engine, but I'm not. Like custom cams will do it every once in a while for people, but it's not something that I push.
Right.
So the point is, if you're not competing in a field of 20 cars for thousandths of a second, custom cam is hoopla.
It's really not needed. We're going to get a lot of hate for this, but it's really just. But it's the truth. BTR wouldn't be such a big company. Texas Speed, all these companies wouldn't be so big If they were custom one-offing every camshaft that came in the door, they're not.
Right. Yeah.
You know, 99% of the cams that we sell are one-off, or not one-off. They're right off our pallets of them. But the thing that I harp on is everybody's like, well, you know, we'll grind somebody a custom cam every once in a while. And then they say, what size push rods do I need? And I'm like, it's custom. You got to buy buy a push rod link checker. Well, you know what the base circle is? I do. But I know what the base circle of every single one of our cams is. And I know that the push rods fit because I checked it. And I've looked at it on the dyno. We even looked at the push rod afterwards. Like they used to say that 3/8 push rods fit in 6.4s and 6.2s.
No,
not after about 6. I think it's 6:10 lift is when it started rubbing. They rub on the outside, and that's why we test this stuff, because I had 3/8 push rods set up to run in our kits, and I run it for 3 passes or 3 dyno pulls. I look at the push rod and it's got chafing marks on it.
Yep.
So it's you know that, but this is why we test. And you know, I always welcome people to tell me what we did wrong. If we did something wrong, I know that there's things that I forgot in that Hellcat dyno video that I'm already ready to do again.
Yeah.
You know, I wish that we would have pulleyed up the other camshafts. I wish that we would have pulleyed up the stock blowers a little more. But we didn't. Do it again.
What was the point in that shootout for the superchargers?
The main point was to test our camshafts, the very first part of it. Yeah. And the second part of it was for everybody else. Like, you know, we sell superchargers. We do. We sell a lot of Magnusons and Whipples, and I sell them to wholesale accounts like y'all and whatever. But I like to sell camshafts. Like, that's what blowers take 20 weeks to get. Like, you know, it is.
Or longer.
I got to sit on it and hear Chris call me, hey, is that Whipple came in yet?
Yep.
No, dude. I know it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah, it's true.
But it's just the truth. But it's with all flavors of them. It's with all any of the aftermarket blower companies that like but what we did was basically just leverage those relationships and said, hey, we're going to do this. We think we can make a really cool video and come up with a lot of data for y'all and for us. And so we just leverage our relationships with Whipple and Magnuson and Kong and SDG.
Was that pretty well received?
Yeah. There's some things that are being changed.
Yeah.
Because of it.
That's good.
Yeah. And I'm glad that, you know, I'm glad to see it. There's some things that they watch our you know, they called us and said, you know, we watched the video, we're making a piece.
Yeah.
So you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I've been preaching that piece for years. So when the time comes, you're
Todd.
welcome.
You know, I will say, as a racer and a car owner, that video that you guys dropped about the superchargers, roughly 2 weeks after you guys dropped that video, Chris called me about a Maggie 2650. I referred to that video. That's one of the first things I did. I went and I looked at the numbers I was putting down, then in a couple of the other superchargers you guys were running, and that helped me make the decision.
I'm biased. I've got a Whipple on my car. They always take good care of me. We sell a lot of Whipples. We sell a lot of Magnusons. I'm biased on the Whipples because I got one on my car and it makes a whole bunch of power. I've never seen torque come on early like that. That jack shaft piece is a torque monster.
Yep.
I would like to do some more experimenting with it, with the piece, and with playing with some cog belts and moving some things around. And, you know, we just physically ran out of days. Like, I had 6 days, and getting 6 days and progressively on the engine dyno is unheard of over there.
Yeah.
Because it's got customers' engines on it all day long. So,
yeah, I've been a fan of that 2650. Obviously, that's the one that I went super fast, first in the sevens with on a Maggie 2650, and mainly because if anybody wants to really get down and after it in the quarter, that 60 is important, and that Maggie puts down a shit ton of torque.
It does.
in that bottom end.
You know, I think maybe, you know, because we lost the rear cog belt. Well, we had the dyno set to where it was 4,000 RPMs is where the test was going to start, and then it was going to be 400 RPMs per second, I think, is what the increase was, and that was just too. I mean, it sounded like a tractor pull engine.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was like, oh my god, the rods are going to come out.
Yeah.
Like, so that's why we ended up moving the RPM up to 5,000. You know, because that's one thing you know about horsepower is you start the party later.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Start the party later on, and you don't do part deletes.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
so we started it at 5,000. That's why some of the data doesn't look perfect, and it bugs me. You know, being a science guy, I wanted it all to be at 4,000 RPMs, and then, but it was just an executive decision to not blow the engine up.
Yeah.
We did put pistons and rods in it, and everybody, you know, we did get some comments. They were like, "Oh, that's not a completely stock." And I'm like, "It's stock compression ratio. It's as close as I'm willing to go." Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's a smart move to do all that, especially.
I mean, when I knew if we were just testing cams and we were just turning the stock blower up all day,
all
long.
day. Yeah.
What we were trying to do with the Whipple and the Magnuson and like the Kong and everything else, I was like, this thing's gonna make 1,200 crank.
That Kong one's interesting.
It is interesting.
What'd you think about that?
I do like the Kong blower. I don't know. Still a little early.
Did you guys run that like max pulley effort on the 2650? Because it's still an Eaton rotator group, right?
Yeah.
Same rotor pack as the Maggies, just has a giant 130, and they did. I mean, it looks awesome with the stock Hellcat. That's like ultimate sleeper.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Actually, Greg just texted me. He said that he made a different idler pulley setup for it, a dual idler pulley setup. That instead of, you know, the AED one that goes around and it almost wraps the whole thing from the top. Well, his has two pulleys that wrap it and then go around the pulley and then back. And it gets just a hair more. He said that it held a 250 on a 426.
golly.
Which
how much boost was that? Did he say?
22, 23.
22, 23 with a 250 upper and a 15 lower or an 11 lower?
Let's see.
That's wild.
It would have had to have been a 15 lower.
Yeah. So that's
10% lower, 23, 24 psi, 7,500 RPM, standard 2.0 or standard 2.5, and 2.5 is as small as the snout
won't
is 2.5.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's it. That's it.
that's awesome. So even on a 15 lower, you're 26, 27 pounds right there.
That's a lot. Now I will say that, you know, even Greg, when we were talking about this stuff, that we did have trouble holding onto the belt at a 275 upper with the stock cubic inch motor. I think the 250 is for a bigger. I think it's just going to take a bigger motor.
So that's a key thing, which Garrett's going to be learning a lot too. Why does the cubic inch matter on or affect belt slip?
So it's really a big deal on positive displacement blowers like what we have on our cars. And the reason why is because you can take that blower, and if the seals in are good and you basically could cap off the bottom of it, right? That thing could get so hard to turn that it could lock up. If it was airtight and sealed, it would be locked up hard to turn. So it is absolutely a positive displacement blower. So it has to do something with all of the air that comes out of that rotor pack. It has to. Whereas a ProCharger or a turbocharger, they will actually run at full speed, and it can be gated. Like it's kind of hard to explain. Like in water pumps, in like well pumps, there's this thing called a cycle stop valve, and the cycle stop valve would close off your airflow. Your water flow, and your pump, this pump speed would go up a little bit, but it wouldn't cycle the pump. Like you could get your pump to where it would, by restricting the flow, it would not sit there and cycle. And that's the same thing that's going on like in a fuel pump. Like a fuel pump is restricted off, and it does the same thing.
Right.
It's not bad for them. So a centrifugal procharger, turbocharger works the same way. Turbocharger a little different because it's using actual heat energy instead of belt energy.
Right.
But a procharger can spin even with it blocked off. Like it's just going to spin. It's not going to have any resistance behind it anymore. Whereas a positive displacement blower will not. So that's why, like on a positive displacement blower, the cam selection and the cubic inches matters. You have to be able to eat the boost. Otherwise, it will create too much resistance, and then you end up smoking belts.
Yeah,
and that's
because the rotor pack can't turn against that blockage of air.
Right.
So, but the engine's going to keep going.
Yeah.
and
so-
a lot of people, like, you know, even these positive displacement blowers, they take a lot to turn.
Right.
Like, for instance, like just that pass I made back there was just under 1,300 horse in fuel, but it's making probably 1,000 at the tire.
It blows my mind to see some of these turbo cars making the same times or better on half the boost than most of these supercharged cars, just because they don't have as much weight to turn.
Heat energy, you're not wasting it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a physics thing. Here's the reason I love turbos. I wish my car was a turbo car. There isn't a great way to do it. Like, now I know Hellion does a good job. They do your car and it's fast as hell. I don't like scavenging oil. Like, I don't want oil leaks. Like, I've had added turbos on cars and you end up with oil leaks, and like the pump that's pumping the oil is not scavenging right. And then you have issues with the turbos and everything. It's just never appealed to me. There's just like, being from a science background and from keep it simple.
Yep.
Yeah.
The potential points for failure
Correct.
on a turbo setup are wild.
You have a lot more potential failure points, and that really bothers me.
Yes.
Now I would like to see like a top mount turbo kit, but I just don't see it. Like, it's just the car's too bulky.
So when I saw on your video that you guys smoked that Maggie belt pretty good on the front,
Yeah.
do you think that's what happened with that? Was it just an airflow issue? Because it is a stock displacement motor. I mean, how many pounds? It was like 26 pounds, wasn't it?
So that was the 15% lower on a 275 upper.
Yeah.
And I just don't think I could get enough belt wrap on it.
Okay.
I think if I could have got a little bit better belt wrap on it, that it would have done a little better. But it was too much.
Yeah, 2.7's a small pulley for that.
Yeah, 275. I was trying to get the RPM up because we lost that cog belt and I didn't have another one. So I ended up having to go back down to a smaller cog pulley. But I was trying to get the boost back up, and I was like, well, we can try this 275, but I don't think it's going to hold.
Yeah.
It didn't. But
Yeah.
we did learn a lot about the stock cubic inch that it takes to hold it. Like, even with Kongs, that 275 was it. Like, he wanted me to try the 250, and I still will. Like, I would try it again. I didn't, because the 275 left belt dust all over the room. Like, I was like, there's no point in going any smaller than that and just ruining a belt.
So boost is because some people also have a hard time understanding this, right? And this is clients, customers. So if a blower's making 25 pounds of boost on a stock drop-in, is the same 25 pounds of boost if it's a 426?
No, definitely not. Your boost is going to drop with a bigger cubic inch motor. But your power will probably stay the same, pretty close to it.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard to explain for me. I guess I don't know how I would dumb that down anymore.
Because people are like, I see online that, this guy's running 25 pounds of boost, but then I'll deliver some customers on 18. They were like, well, this guy's on 25. It's like, well,
Boost doesn't mean anything to me.
right. So it's like,
That's what I was trying to get at. Boost doesn't really mean shit to me. Like, it doesn't. Even during our Hellcat dyno testing, you saw like the boost numbers went from anywhere from 13 down. I think the final number with the final cam was like 6.5.
yeah.
But we were making 60 more horsepower than the other cam was on 13 pounds. So what you're doing is you're essentially you're increasing the volumetric efficiency of the engine by either adding cubic inches or adding a camshaft that is going to be a better profile. Like the stock camshaft profiles, they're good. Engineers get paid a lot of money, spend a lot of time figuring out what will run the best. What they don't, but they also have their hands tied behind their backs by a lot of other alphabet agencies and everything else that goes on. So that's why they don't lope. Period. Like engineers know how to do that. They know everything there is to know about an auto cycle internal combustion engine, but they're also handicapped. So, but that being said, the stock camshafts are good profiles, but it does take sacrificing either drivability or something to that nature for a little more performance.
Yeah.
And that's where the camshaft comes in. I'm like, are you ready to sacrifice some drivability? Because like, yeah, even the best tuner in the world can make one idle, but it's still going to have its hiccups. It's still that lope is it's gasping for air at low RPM. That's what that sound is. And so it doesn't matter how stable. Yes, you can make it stable. Yes, you can make it to where but it's still going to have some bucking that goes with it. That's why they don't put any overlap in stock cams, because they don't want Karen calling saying, hey, this thing
beat the kidneys out.
jerking while I'm driving down the road. It doesn't shift very good,
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Like even transmission strategies from the OEMs, they slip a lot, so that you don't feel the shift.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like slipping the clutch.
Yep.
That's to everything that I know to be bad.
Yeah.
And it is. It's bad for, Ford had a lot of hell with a lot of transmissions because they were slipping clutches. The 6F35 front wheel drive transmission is a 50,000 mile transmission because they slipped converter clutches so that it would have a softer shift. But then the converter clutch went out and filled the whole transmission up with converter clutch material.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's what your engineers are up against. So yes, they do know how. Like they built the Demon 170. I think they copied a lot of people in the industry. But they just said, "Hey, what is everybody doing to our cars? Let's do that."
Yeah, that's a good point on that part. So there's so many things that we can do on a stock displacement engine, because Zilla says the same thing. Well, my car's doing phenomenal with where it's at, and he's on a stock displacement engine. You're about to go stock displacement. There's going to be so far that we'll be able to go with boost before boost doesn't yield us anything. Then you have to kind of dial it back a little, and you can almost achieve the same thing with just a little bit more ignition timing and not cram so much boost down at fight belts, brake belts, all this other shit.
About 400 cubic inches. That's about the midpoint where it needs, like I've mentioned before, this is all early LS, and like now the fast LS cars that are on trans brakes and everything else, they're not super big engines, and they're huge turbos, 2-3 speeds, and 3,000 pounds. We don't have that kind of weight yet.
No.
Like I don't think there'd be much of a car left anymore. Let's just be honest. Like
No, because the Trackhawk I just drove across the scales at 5,100.
with no interior in it.
With no interior. 5,100 pounds on the Trackhawk. And then my car's 4,020. Did you hit the scales with yours today?
Not today, but it's 4370, 4380.
Did you hit the scales?
4420.
4420? How did you get 43?
I've got TBMs and different seats. And
Gary, got to step it up.
them seats,
I got to.
Man, them things are boat anchors.
Yeah,
Them seats
they
are.
are.
70
tell you what.
pounds each.
The freaking A-seat seats. I do miss that.
Yeah.
Everybody's sweating their ass off in the lanes, and you got the air-conditioned seat on. That's nice.
I've put a Kirky in my car twice and taken it out both times because that stock seat, man, you can't beat it.
That is
You
so
can't beat
comfortable.
it.
I want to put it in
is.
my truck.
It's worth the tint it takes. It's worth it.
I kind of agreed for a long time, and then everybody's like, you got, because that thing last year was like racing at 4,900 pounds or.
Last year you were 4,900?
God.
Oh, it's got a sunroof in it. It's got everything.
Damn.
That's a full tank of gas and all. Jesus
Damn.
Christ.
Here's what you need. This is for not your average photographer. We're looking for sponsorship for TBM brakes for Gary. So, shameless plug, NYA photographer. Please reach out to Gary for TBM brakes. Thank you.
What?
Gary needs brakes.
We'll explain
because
that later.
this guy is lighter than Gary, and he's a 4-door Charger.
Yeah.
We can't have that.
No, not
I
at all.
will say those TBM brakes are light. They're super nice.
Oh yeah.
Like,
What did you? Okay, so you got TBM brakes. So tell us a little bit about your car now.
Okay.
So we've done the shootout with Skog and Dickey. We've done some of that. So tell us about your car. Are you the first original owner of this car?
yes, I actually bought it. It was a demo. It was because we're a dealer.
At the dealer. Okay.
It had 4,000 miles on it. And Crosby, at this time, I was the service manager, and Crosby was the parts manager. Mm-hmm. And he's like, let's get into Dodge performance parts. Let's do all, like, this is kind of when we started talking about doing performance stuff. And I was like, you know, I'm okay with doing it. Like, I'll just be honest with you. Like, I need help. Like, I'll help with whatever we need to do and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And my car just kind of turned out to be the R&D car. That's
Nice.
like, he had a truck that we built, his little 800 horsepower crew cab truck. That thing would surprise people.
Yeah.
But we built that one. It had a 2.9 Whipple on a 426, so there was no boost. It made like 8 pounds, and then it fell down to 7 at the top. But it made 800 horsepower.
Yeah.
But it made 800 horsepower like instantly. Like,
Jeez.
it's just straight line up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was.
That's awesome.
It was wild when he told, because it was originally just going to be a 5.7. He's like, let's just get my 5.7, because I had a 2.9 blower that I was going to put on a Ram RT that I had before the Charger. Bought off Facebook Marketplace, whatever. And he's like, I'll buy that blower off of you and let's put it on my truck. And then before I could put it on the truck, he's like, hey, I bought a 426. And I was like, hey, that's too big of a motor for this blower. Like, but okay, like,
Yeah.
I'll pulley it up. I'll try to do whatever we want. But
Yeah.
you know, we did that and built his truck. And then my car, we were going to do a 2.9. So I pulled the motor out, sold the motor before it even had its first oil change.
Yeah.
It had like 4,500 miles on it. Sold the stock engine. We built an engine for it, and I was going to buy the 2.9. And that's when I called our Whipple rep, and he said, hold up. He said, the new one's coming. Don't buy the 2.9. So I waited, and I waited for forever.
Yeah.
Finally got the Gen 5 3-liter. I 10 rib converted it. It was a scat pack car. It was a six rib car. That was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be.
So you did the 10 rib conversion, or did you just put a whole Hellcat motor in there?
Mm-hmm. So I took that. Wow. I took the motor that we had, and because it was a 426, and I did a 10 rib conversion, the timing cover and all the other shit that goes with it.
Oil pan, all that.
Oil pan, and the guys from Whipple actually made me a blower that's like custom. It was. It has a vacuum bypass on it, but it's a 10 rib setup.
Okay.
We actually sell those those snouts. Like, if people have a scat pack and they want to convert it to a 10 rib, I have a snout that will convert the 3-liter to a 10 rib.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's specifically for us. And then, so that's how the car started. And then it just kind of progressed, and we just tried new things. And I've had a couple different camshafts in it. Couple different things. It's more of like we use it for content. We use it for going out and to tell you the truth, you know, like we've talked about this before. I'm not a super competitive guy. I don't care. Like I'm like, I want to go out, have some fun, hang out with some friends.
Yeah.
Like I'm more into like watching y'all go fast and everybody else do good and everything else. I do like it, but I've done this my whole life. Like I really just like watching other people have a good time and everything else. It's like, It's like the first time I went to Vegas. I was there for 3 hours. I was down $400, and I didn't want to play anymore. Like,
Been there.
I want to go home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
we're still here for 5 days. What? What am I supposed to do for 5 days? I don't gamble.
Yep.
Like, it's like, y'all doing the grudge racing stuff. I think it's fun to watch, but I don't have the heart for it. I'm not a gambler.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a home.
No.
So no, I can't leverage that kind of money.
Nope.
I wouldn't have a home, and if I lost the amount of money that Peanut and them would put on the line,
I'd be sick.
I would keep driving.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I would not. No.
yeah.
Right out gate.
Yep. No, not even that. I'd ghost that thing or right off the end of the track.
Oh man.
Done. Yep. No, I would barrel roll down the sand pit, everything. This would be Monica. No, done.
Where's he going with my car?
Gone. Yep. Wouldn't even turn around. I couldn't even come back and look at people in the eye. Yeah, I just lost that money.
Yep.
No, I couldn't. I don't have the stomach for it. Like I really do think it's fun to watch, but I'm like, man, where do these people come up with $100,000 for these races? And
Yeah.
that ain't for me. Like I would cry over $500. Like he's over here. He over here maybe blew the transmission up in his Trackhawk, and he's like, I'm like, I would be in tears. Like go find a place to cry for a little bit, and then think,
Yeah.
But thankfully, Scott and Dickey and Nikki and Crosby and everybody, they've allowed me and all of us, if we're willing to do it, to go out and do these events and have fun and do the R&D. There's a few of us that are really into developing new products, and that's Jesse, me, and Dane.
That's really cool to know that you guys have the tools to be able to do that, and when allowed, the time to be able to do to test it on the dyno, right? Yeah. On the engine dyno at that. So that's pretty awesome. But your car went from scat pack, bone stock, put some cams in it, 10 rib Whipple. What are you out here with? Same setup, or did we do any changes?
It's mostly just a Hellcat at this point. With a vacuum bypass. It's got a Sipple 8HP90 in it. It's got
a 90 swap.
Yeah,
okay.
I 90 swapped it, and then now he's built it.
What does that look like for the 90 swap?
That was the easiest thing
Did
ever.
you do a Hellcat harness?
Nope.
No?
Nope. You literally just plug it in.
Or did you keep the 70 TCM just a 90 trans?
No, you can keep the 90 trans or the TCM. So what I do is I take it and I get a VIN number off of Marketplace or Car Gurus or whatever. So I have a 309 gear. Okay. So I got a red eye VIN. Okay. I have a bench device that I flash the 90 with, the YTech, with the 309 red eye operating system. Once that's done, you just plug it in. Like, you just put it in the car and it works.
Really?
Like, yeah, you have the drive shaft is different, and I think it's the rear, the transmission mount. I did it a year and a half ago, so don't quote me on it. But it's very little difference. Like it's a bolt-in swap if you just find somebody to program it
to do the 90 swap. Interesting.
Yeah, it's not bad, But even Sipple, even that white truck. I don't know if you've seen we built Jesse and I built that truck, and Sipple did the 70 in that, and it held pretty good. And that thing's a tank that makes 1,200 to the tire.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So you did that. So now you're out here on that. What's been the best time on it so far? You're not a no time racer, right? We can share this.
No, it's gone 9. It went 920 and 154
in a scat pack. Solid.
That was full weight, full interior. There was nothing done to it. It was just a parachute.
920s. So what's it? Didn't you just throw a 9.1 up here?
No, it went 940, but I'm trying out that new. So I've been working with Rick Trunkett from Big 3 Racing. They have the Holly Gateway.
Okay.
So the Holly Gateway is on this car. This is the first time I've ever had it out since we did that. I'm trying the launch control and all the other stuff that goes with it, and it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
It's a lot different from stock. Stock you had to play the pedal games.
Yeah.
Like how fast can I move my pedal down? And
Yeah. Okay.
it is very different. But I will say that Holly is so much easier to tune than the stock ECU.
Yeah. How's that simple trans?
I mean, it's holding pretty good.
Because before you were Slip City,
Yeah, I
that
made,
70 was hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, well, that was the 90. I smoked the converter in the 90. We were at Flying H in Kansas City,
Yeah.
and I went for my first round, and I could hear it shifting. I could feel it shifting, but I'm looking at the RPM, and it ain't moving. It's just 6,500, and it just stayed there the whole way down. And I got the log back, and it was just pegged. Like, it was shifting, but the converter was completely smoked.
Yeah.
Which that I still don't understand. I don't understand it. And like the 8-speed, this is still in its infancy. So, like the Dodge, I don't know why nobody's made a converter that doesn't have to lock. Like made a really tight converter that doesn't have to use the clutch. And I don't know why. Like I probably could sit and ask Sipple or somebody, but
Yeah.
I think it just hasn't been tried yet.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things. Like it's, but we've talked about this before. Like because you like to be in the 8-speed world. I think the 8-speed is the more gears the better.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
this is a very controversial topic.
Yes,
and,
it is.
And I even get in arguments internally in the building. Because they know that it's 2,000 horsepower. It's got, you need 2 gears, you need this gear ratio, you need this tall a tire, you need this weight. They all know the recipe. This is what it takes to do this.
Yeah.
Well, 8-speeds, you think differently. And I think I gave him the analogy one time. What are the fastest accelerating cars in the world? They're top fuel, right? If you look at how a top fuel dragster works, as soon as it launches, it goes a little above the power band and it stays there, and then it's pulled back and it stays in the power band. It is trying to stay in that one little window there. Whereas if you have 2 to 3 gears, it's going through the window and back over across a couple times. What if you could shift it enough times to just keep it in that power band?
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about a 200 millisecond shift. Ain't nobody shifting that fast.
Much narrower shift window.
So, yeah. So what we need to do is we need to get and this is still early. Like eventually I'd like to see the shifts go a little faster on the 8-speeds and have a converter that doesn't use the clutch. I think that the cars would be considerably faster. I'm an 8-speed purist. Like most of the time I'm an ECM purist, but I got tired of messing with the GPEC too.
Yeah.
And kind of like the Holly setup. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I am an 8-speed purist. I don't think that, everybody says, oh, it needs, a 230, 240 cam, a 4,000 stall converter, a 411 gear. I'm like, you don't need a 4,000 stall converter with 8 speeds.
No.
How much torque multiplication do you need?
Yeah.
Like you making 1,000 horsepower. Why do you need
Yeah.
more multiplication that it already has?
Yeah.
And
that's why I'll always stick true to the 8-speed. One, our cars are gutted, yes, but I think when you start breaking away from some of that, you start losing some of the core values of what that car is. And if nobody like us is out there to push that 8-speed, how would we ever know?
See, that's the thing is like, and the 10-speed Mustangs, holy shit.
Oh, there's some fast.
Yeah, naturally aspirated running with Hellcats.
Yeah.
Like,
There's some fast
and that's not
10 speeds.
That's not because it's making 707 horsepower. It's because it's got 10 speeds to keep it in the power band the whole time, and they weigh less.
Yeah.
So it's like, Yeah, right now the answer to going really fast is not the 8 speed. It's not. Like you want to go sub 7 seconds. It's going to take 3 gears and the standard solid axle swap, turbo 400, trans brake. It's going to take all those things right now. But it is also right in, they used to think back in the 90s that the Power Glide was the thing. Now it's turbo 400s. Now it's more gears, and it will get there.
Yep.
It's just not there yet.
Yeah, it's not. So the cop out is 400s, TH 400s in Hellcats, and I'm gonna say that this ain't no Shellcat here.
I can't do it. I'm a purist. I don't. Nah. I believe. I believe.
I mean, just a few years ago, I don't think anybody ever thought that an 8-speed would even look into going into 7s, and look how fast it's progressed. I would probably say in the past 2 years, just 8-speed stuff has really started progressing. Parts have started coming out. And it's got to tell you something if now they make ZF swaps for 2Js.
2Js, BMWs, dude, they're putting 8 HPs in. I'm in a Facebook group that talks about this stuff on the swap side because I like to keep up with the swap. Believe it or not, we mostly sell crate engines and swap things. That's what we're really known for. So I try to keep up with that stuff as much as we can. But they're putting these 8 speeds behind everything. Like they're fixing to start putting them behind LSs.
Yeah.
Wow.
LS swap. Yeah, there's quite a few.
So this if 8-speed was a stock, if ZF was a stock I could buy in the stock market, I would load up on it. Because these guys, the Dodge guys, I think we had a unique opportunity that we could have jumped on a lot earlier. But I think that these guys in the European and import market are gonna like excel with making parts with them. There's already guys that are doing the 95 all-wheel drive version swaps. You can buy the 95, put a different plate on the back, and run it in a two-wheel drive car.
Wow.
And you've got an 8 HP 95 that you're running in a Supra, right? So it's wild that they've already got that kind of stuff. So it's really cool to see where this ZF market is, because all these guys are swapping to ZFs, period. And I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's even some high 7-second BMWs already that have already swapped in 9 days.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And Supras are starting to do it.
I mean, we're not far from the 8-speed going 6s. I honestly think you're pretty close. I don't know if you'll get there, but
we have a few.
There's a few.
We have a few things that we're slowly testing at it instead of me throwing the atom bomb on it and doing what I do.
That's expensive.
We are gathering our data, gathering our info. There's a few steps that I need to take to get there. I do think it's 100% attainable. And Z is very subliminal in some of his messages, and he's been randomly asking me, "Hey, when are you gonna up your cage to go 750s or faster?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Z. That's not even on my radar. I would love to, but that's not on my radar." He goes, "You really need to be considering that." And I'm like, "What do you know that I don't?" Do you think?
I mean, you did go 780, didn't you?
So the fastest car's been a 770s.
Getting that extra 2/10 is tough.
It is very tough.
It's 7 seconds. It gets a lot harder past about 11.
Yeah.
11.5, it starts to get real hard.
Yeah.
To go down. And down there, it's real tough.
Yeah, and he keeps insinuating. He did that to me, and I know this because he did that to me when I ran the first 8.4. He goes, are are you ready? Do you think? I'm like, yeah, that's it. Just, is there more in it? He goes, maybe. Just hang on. And then he goes, this may or may not do anything. I don't know. Fucking yanked the goddamn front tires up. Did the whole thing. I was running 8.6s and he cut 2.10s off. I ran an 8.49 and then wheels came up and he goes, okay, I know you can drive now. You ready? Let's turn the nitrous on. I was like, damn,
No,
easy.
I can't do it. So I'm also a purist. Like it's either a boost car or a nitrous car or an NA car.
Yeah.
Like I can't
Boost and juice.
mix them. That's y'all grudge racers and
Yeah.
y'all chasing times. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, because I do have nitrous on the shelf to put on the car. I do have that will
I do
eventually find its way back in the car to go faster. So I think it's there. Thankfully, we got a good team like you guys and Sipple and everybody who's going to back that exploration as we go down.
Yeah, see, I'd
territories.
much rather see y'all do good stuff and y'all do fun things. And I mean, I like coming out here and
Yeah.
having fun with the car and doing things. But I'm telling you, once the incident gets competitive, I'm out. Like I'm really. I just don't care that much. Like the fact of winning a race that I'm going to win $100 when it costs me $700 in fuel to get here, like I don't need a little trophy.
You like to draw your art?
Yeah,
You don't
like
to put it in the
I'm
art
here.
show?
I'm here to have fun and hang out with people like y'all and do, all
Yeah.
that stuff. I like the camaraderie that's around it. Like I've been in it so long that it's just not. I used to be competitive with it, like when I owned my own shop and I was trying to, to do things and like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I'll just support the people that do it and we'll make some videos and stuff. But
Yeah, I'd say I do come out to the track with him quite a bit, and less than 50% of the time does my car follow me out here. I'm right there with you. I enjoy watching them go fast and put numbers down and do their thing too. So.
I mean, I do enjoy it. Like it is fun. But I tell you, when I did the NMCA race and it was televised and everything else, it's like the minor leagues. But it was still a bucket list check. It was like, okay, that's done. I don't have to do that no more.
Yeah.
But then they were like, oh well, we kind of got a lot of good content. We'll take your car. I'm like, oh no, we're good. Like I did it. Like it's cool. No, I mean I still have fun and everything else. But that is what it is. It's just I come to support the racers and do it, and I get just as much enjoyment out of watching everybody else tear their shit up.
Fair. Now, different topic, but do you guys have any plans for the return of the Hemi? If they make any big changes, do you guys plan on front running anything, or you guys kind of?
Right now, we're just holding out.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was the Hurricane engine.
Yep.
Like it was going to be the new thing. Bought a Hurricane engine. Tried the Hurricane stuff, and it. I just don't think it's going to take off.
Yeah.
Like, it's a badass engine. I mean, hell, they run really, the RHO trucks, they run really good. The Wagoneers that have the HO, they're fast.
Yeah.
I think it could be the new super engine. I really do. Like, do think that it could make good power if we could mess with it, but I don't think that it's going to take off as a car. I don't know.
In the Dodge platform.
In the Dodge. Like,
Maybe a swap engine down the road. Am I seeing some Miatas or something?
right now, the plans for that are very, very, are next to nothing because we couldn't get a controller.
Right.
Like,
Now that was for the Hurricane, right?
the Hurricane.
What about the return of the Hemi?
The return of the Hemi, we don't know. Like, there's a lot of rumors about things, whether or not, I heard that Stellantis ordered a whole bunch of IHI superchargers by January 1. I heard that they're going to do something with Ram. I hope that it is an all-wheel drive RT pickup.
Yes.
If Dodge, if you're listening, all-wheel drive RT pickup.
If they brought back the Viper truck for 2 years, I swear to God, that would be their best-selling truck
Really?
in a long time.
I think it's a track hawk, but a short cab regular RT truck. They
Call it the Dakota.
something. I don't
Bring
care.
the Dakota back.
Yes.
Like I don't care. Like they missed it with the TRX. Like the TRX is cool. It's cool. It's an off-road truck. That's not off-road people's platform. They don't care about horsepower.
Yeah.
Like some of them do. But
Yeah.
I mean, clearly they sold some. But
Yeah.
the horsepower guys want a small regular cab short bed truck, and if it's all-wheel drive,
So, Ram, if you're listening, you need an answer to the F-150.
yes, the F-150.
You need an answer to the single cab, all-wheel drive F-150.
Dude, we sell like there's some Ford dealers that we sell a ton of Whipples to
Really?
because they're just the people are buying the F-150 XL trucks 4-wheel drive. They don't care what the inside looks like,
Yeah.
and they're out here running 8s.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
Yep.
Wild to me. Like right now, the 24s and stuff, they're all really locked down. Ford locked them down, so it's only Ford doing the tuning.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people are buying Whipples and getting Whipple to unlock the TCM and then selling their Whipple and doing turbos or whatever on their F-150s.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Yeah.
So the Tomahawk, using the Tomahawk to unlock it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're getting caught doing that. So, I know that Tim Kaniskis, we've been really good buds. Not really, but we saw at Roadkill Nights. Please, you're head of Ram. You know what to do. You're hearing the cry from us. Bring the Dakota all-wheel drive back.
I got a meeting with him on Tuesday. I'll let him know.
You tell him. You say,
Yeah, I'll call him. Tell him I told him. I
Yeah.
told you so.
So can we? So since we're on the topic of Dodge dealers and all that, can we talk about? Are you guys power brokers?
We are not a power broker, Tim Kaniskis.
How is Scoggin Dickey Performance Shop Race Shop?
When you figure it out, brother, you let me know.
You guys have to be a power broker. You guys would probably be the only dealership in the U.S. that would know what they're doing.
I mean,
Sorry to everybody
I
else.
know that there's other dealers out there that do a really good job, and
Yeah.
Steve White Motors, they've got
there's
Dynos
Steve
and
White.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're probably the closest to what we do.
Yeah.
They don't do any like development and stuff like that, but they do make some of their own parts. And
Yeah. They're the Yankees, though. They're up north.
still PC.
They're from up north. We're down here. We're in Freeman's Land racing.
But no, like there's not very many Dodge dealers that I know of that are doing anything. Like one of my good friends, Andy Wagner, owns East Coast Moparts.
Yep.
We're actually competition and we're really good friends. So
Yeah.
it's we constantly will text each other and bitching about Mopar, like, oh, they discontinued this stupid thing or whatever it is. Like he's my vent buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
If they do that or open it back up, is there a push for Scoggin Dickey to do power brokers?
I mean, I've been told for a year and a half that we were going to be a power broker dealer. And I mean, really at the end of the day, and this is no hate on Dodge or anything, but there's not a whole lot that the power broker dealers can do that I can't.
Okay.
Like, they can get some of the parts and things, but honest to God, I just get it from Andy.
Yeah.
Like, or I'll get it from another power broker dealer or whatever. But the power broker parts are not. That program wasn't launched super well, and it's part of, I hope, what is Tim Kaniskis is now fixing. Mm-hmm. It was launched by sales department. Mm-hmm. It wasn't launched by the parts department. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is automatic replenish order. So they just, once you sell one, they give you another one to put on your shelf, but you have to keep them on your shelf. I can't special order this stuff, and that's really not awesome at all. I need to be able to order it.
Yeah.
I need to be able to order things without restrictions, and it only can go to this person or this dealer, or they don't have enough allotments. It's like car sales.
Yeah.
and it wasn't done by parts. If parts would take it over and if they would just let us distribute the parts,
Yeah.
that's it. That's all we need. All I need is somebody to say, okay, y'all can order it, sell it, all of it. Not order one or sell one and then order it again.
Yeah, because there's some people that I don't think there's a lot of dealers that know what all is in that Power Brokers thing either. Because it's...
Not very many people do. I don't know. It's a really odd program. It really is. But I don't use hardly any of it.
Yeah.
I'm like...
Because I think the big benefit was the warranty push.
The warranty push.
Yep. Yeah.
And at this point, it's like the warranty push is... It doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Like, there's not a warranty.
Yeah.
So what does it matter? Let's just sell the stuff.
Yeah, because, I mean...
If you've got the EO numbers and those things work,
Yeah.
people will buy them. If they're like...
Absolutely.
Like, and that's one of the things that I try to tell people, like, hey, that those stage kits that they have would be a great product if we could get them.
Yeah.
Now, I know what they're having trouble with, and it's the EO stuff. It's because they're trying to lower the temp. You're trying to lower the radiator temp, and that's tough to pass EO like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's definitely interesting, and I hope you guys get it. Because if they ever do come out with it again and relaunch it and whatever else.
I'd like to see the program worked from a parts standpoint, not from a sales standpoint. It was most definitely launched by the sales department, and it wasn't executed very well. And even Stellantis knows this.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying is no secret in the crowd that knows.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's
Yeah. No.
Even,
Yeah, no, it's not. It's good.
I know that you dealt with some things back in the day. Tuning.
Mm-hmm.
Is it getting better? Like, I feel like from our standpoint, I don't get as many phone calls of your cams can't be tuned or this and that. My idle speed or my car won't idle after your cam or this and that. Do y'all still get that kind of stuff?
Yes. From other places.
No, it is usually from other places, and I fix a lot of tunes that I don't want to.
Yeah, and it's from a lot of other shops, like install shops that we have to do all that with. Some of it's install error, as far as what it is.
90% of our tech phone calls are in installer error.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people who'd like, hey, I've got this cam from so and so, and I've fired it up once, and like, it doesn't want to run anymore. But I'm like, okay, did you install the right pieces? I've had a lot of people that try to do it themselves, and just like, yeah, I don't know what this is, but I just didn't install it. Didn't think we needed it. And you know what it is that they didn't install? Cam phase limiter. Like, I didn't understand that. So they didn't tear it apart and put the part in.
You're lucky things didn't hit.
Oh, they did.
Oh.
That's why they're like, yeah, it's not running anymore.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's
So some is that, and then some is the tuning side. Like, we just fixed a Durango that came from someone that
no names. I'm not
yeah,
trying to roast anybody or anything.
that was a cam issue. The surging, the this, the that. The common issues. Thankfully, Z is really good at what he does. Some things fight tooth and nail with like really aggressive cams, and some are just, and they fight tooth and nail in the low speed stuff. It's never the wide open.
It's always
throttle. It's
wide
always,
open throttle is easy.
Yep,
Wide open throttle. A trained toddler could do wide open throttle tuning. Yep. That is the 100% truth. All of the time that you spend in tuning is all in the transient tables and getting your timing right, driving down the highway, and all the other drivability things that go on with it.
Yeah, That's
building
the
a
hard
VE
part.
table, but doing a wide open throttle pull with a VE table, you're using 2 lines of it, and all you have to do is worry about the air fuel on that 2 line.
Yep.
Like anybody that's making more than 2 dyno pulls to try to get air fuel right, I'm like, man, you might want to change careers.
Yeah.
Like, but that's why I made the idle tuning video like a year ago, is because it was so bad. It was every day. It was every day that somebody would call and say, your cam can't be tuned. My tuner can't get your cam tuned. It won't idle below 1,000 RPMs, pushing through the converter, everything else. So I made the video, and it wasn't even a how-to. It was basically so that I could tell customers, go to this video, and I'm gonna show you that it can be done.
Yep.
Like, I messed mine up. I videoed it. I fixed it, and I videoed it again. And I'm like, I'm telling you, this thing can run at 800 RPM. I promise. It just, somebody has to know what they're doing in pid loop tuning.
Yep.
I think a big contributor to that is remote tuning is being so popular these days. People on Facebook, they watch a couple YouTube videos and they think they're an expert. And
Everyone's a
can
tuner.
Tune. They hop on their local Facebook group and it's like, yeah, I tuned my car and a couple buddies' cars. I can write you a tune, and next thing you know, you got
Dodge is nowhere near that. Like, that's why I tell people, like, when they say, hey, I need to get my car tuned, I'm like, where are you going?
Yep.
Like, oh, it's this GM shop. And I'm like, do they do Hemis? Like, do they tune Dodges? Because if they don't, I would highly recommend that you find somebody that does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you'll spend $1,000 and it won't be right.
Yep.
Like, these things are not easy to tune. And one of the things that I'm such a stickler on, and even in any of them, Ford, GM, any tuning, is injector data. If I'm going to tune the car myself, it's got to have fuel injector connection, injector dynamics, FICs, or fuel injector clinic. But any of the other ones, I don't have any data. And they have data, but it's not data that's built for that table. And I like that. That takes actual work to get the data.
Right.
Well, you think about it. Everybody's like, well, I can just copy. These are the 1,000cc injectors. I can just copy and paste the 1,000cc injector data that ID has. I've got some FID thousands. I'll just paste it in there. And I'm like,
Yeah, no, that doesn't work.
I'm like, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, and it's like, yeah, you could build you could error correct it out, but your VE table is going to look completely roasted. Yeah. Well, you think about it, to idle a car, it takes roughly 1.5 milliseconds of fuel time or injector time. Well, the most important part of that injector data is the dead time. So when you hit it with 12 volts, how long does it take to open? Well, if it takes it 0.9 of a second or a millisecond to open, there's half of your pulse, three-fourths or 2/3 of your pulse is gone.
Gone. Yep.
To dead time. So you have to build it into the backside of the VE. And then now everything else is built, your foundation's built on sand. So the fuel injector data is the most important data in the whole ECM, especially on these cars because they're torque based.
Yep.
The torque is calculated off of the actual amount of fuel that went in. They know how much that fuel energy is going to make, and they can calculate the torque based on that fuel. Well, if you've completely raped the VE, now it thinks it's making more torque than it actually is, and it's shifting like shit.
Yep.
And then, well, can you fix it? Yeah, I can start all the way over. Because then you look at the data and it's like, okay, it can't be like that. So you got to start all the way over. And they're like, I've already paid somebody $1,000 to do this.
You paid $1,000 to do it wrong.
Yeah.
So, old me, I end up trying to help people and I fix them. And I don't like doing that. And it's getting better. But I am glad that Z and you and Dusterhoff, and I've got a lot of them.
Yeah.
Rick.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tuning seems to be coming around.
I do get this a lot. And we'll get your opinion on this, and we'll probably stop at this.
Okay.
I get this question all the time when people think there's a better tuner out there that promises them that extra 5 horsepower, right? They say, this tuner needs to know your cam specs in order to tune it.
I mean, if he's moving the VVT around, he does to an extent. If you're moving the VVT around and it's still able to be moved in there, then yes. If it is locked out, it does not matter. The engine builder decided the VE when he picked the cam. Mm-hmm. He decided how much horsepower that engine is going to make. There is no secret sauce. Like, there is secret sauces to get things down the track. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not a big secret recipe. Don't shift before the 60 foot. Mm-hmm. Like, hit it with as much horsepower as you can hold, and don't shift before the 60 foot. Those are really the only two things that are like in the Bible.
So I keep telling people all the time, I'm sorry, but there is not a insert cam spec here part in the tune. They can either tune it or they can't, and it doesn't matter what it is, because all of our cams, we lock them out anyways. We don't do too many
We
limiters.
lock them all out. We even locked out the small ones because here's the thing. Like, I don't even want there to be a question.
Yeah.
I don't want there to be ever a question. And it doesn't matter like that. Like, if you're chasing 10 horsepower, yes, a smaller cam, you can move it around. You can get a little more out of it. But when you're running a 220, 230, or 230, 240, like, or 223, 240, you're chasing the piston's chasing valves. You can't move it around.
No.
It ain't got 10 degrees in there to move around.
No.
So it needs to be locked out.
Yep.
And the only one that could be limited and not locked out is our stage one. And for now that I'm on a podcast, we hate the stage names. we hate it. It's an internal thing that we have to use because I'm not going to try to tell the world how to talk about cams. We talk about duration at 50. I talk about a 220, 230 or 210, 220, 205, 210. Like, that's the way we talk about cams. But when it's talking about the public, hey, I got your stage one cam. Okay.
Got it.
Got it. Thank you. But yeah, we hate the stage names too. But yeah, you're not moving. You can move around a small cam and pick up power at the top end by retarding the camshaft. Mm-hmm. It's just a known fact.
Yeah.
But most cams can't be moved. And there is another reason why you'd want to move it, and it's for emissions. And I think that could be dealt with.
Yeah.
You can still lock it out and still have neural network control it and some other things and still make the timer work, or the readiness monitor work. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Not trying to get into that.
For everyone, there's not a insert cam spec here in your tune device. So
There is not. There is only cam watt tables. There is some tables, but it doesn't matter.
you can just see how much air that thing is wanting and go from there.
Most VVT tables, the VVT, you know what VVT was originally made for, right?
VTAC?
Really, it was made so they don't have EGR valves.
Okay.
It reduces NOx emissions
Yeah.
by lowering the emissions or the cylinder temperatures at cruising speeds by retarding the camshaft. That's what VVT was for. It does happen to make more power at the top, but VVT was to pass emissions.
So it wasn't for the B18 to hit VTEC?
Now the
And go into warp
Coyote
speed?
can move cams around both ways and all kinds of different ways, and the Coyote is that one does need to move around. But
Yeah.
a Hemi, overhead valve, lock that thing out.
Pushrod motors.
Push rod motor.
Lock them out.
Lock
we
'em
don't need them. We don't need them. So that's it.
So if you have one piece of advice for our viewers today, what would it be?
Look at
Oh,
look at
let's think about this.
look at Gary. Zilla 2.0. Go ahead.
Never trust somebody that has never had to fix something that they broke. And that goes in your personal life and in this industry.
That sounds similar to the never trusting a tattoo artist without tattoos type thing too, huh? Yep. Okay, fair.
Never trust a skinny cook.
Yep, there you go. I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
That's
so.
right, though. Never trust a skinny cook.
It is right.
Man. All right. Well, that's it. That's the final wrap of episode 3000 of the Deep Stage podcast. And we are super thankful that we've had Scott and Dickie on here. It was a great conversation, full of knowledge, full of unpacking myths and myth busting. And I thoroughly appreciate that. So make sure you like, subscribe. Zilla 1320, right there. Right?
Green car.
Green car. And then SRT Scarletti for the fill-in.
Yep.
Scarlet, SRT Scarlet for the fill-in.
With an E. Scarlet with an E.
Scarlet with an E. And the Deep Stage podcast, of course, you want to always follow this because we have awesome guests like Gordon on here representing Skog and Dickey. And then you want to also make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to Skog and Dickey Parts Center. Is there one? Multiple? Is there one for each dealership?
No, well, there is, but mostly the Skog and Dickey Parts Center is the one that we use the most.
The big one.
Yeah, our YouTube channel and all that stuff. And if your viewers or anybody has suggestions about things that you want us to test or that we did wrong, or there's always somebody that tells me that I did something wrong. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
But we like to hear feedback on the videos, but that's how we make different things. That's how we know what to test the next time. So it takes input. I mean, we are fixing to do the LT. We did a project with ProCharger on one of our race shop deals on his LT, but we're fixing to do some LT cam testing.
Nice.
That LT motor goes crazy naturally aspirated.
There's
We've
one.
got some awesome numbers.
There's one out here, and it's unfortunately it was broke for the weekend, but it's impressive. So
Yeah, they are.
You guys are going to get into the Ford stuff?
we are already in Ford Performance. We're going to do the Ford, or I'm going to be at the Ford thing in Bowling Green, whatever it is, the Holly Ford Fest or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We already sell Ford Performance, like crate engines and Ford Performance stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Might get into Ford stuff. It's pretty saturated. And I know a lot of the people that are in it. You know, I had a conversation with Justin Starkey about VMP blowers and maybe doing a project with them on some Coyote stuff, and I'd like to. So it is a very good maybe.
Good.
So
you may get into that. So make sure you follow all of them on YouTube, because there's going to be some cool things coming down for you GM guys, and also maybe more stuff for the Hemi stuff. So in the video, comment down what you would like to see for them to also test, and then throw some Ford stuff out. So Ford guys, LT guys, if you want to see some testing or some debunking of things, let's go after it. Let's see what you got.
yes, sir.
Alrighty. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.